Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on Superman and Lois Season 4. So we are about, I think, what, just under, or it might be exactly, maybe 2 months out from when the time this video goes up, from the premiere, the 2-hour premiere, might I specify, with 2 episodes, of course that being episode 1 and 2, as you'd assume, of Superman and Lois's 4th and final season, that happening on October 17th. So hopefully this goes up at least Australian time, maybe August 17th, so I'm at least in one area of the world 2 months away exactly. Of course, we got that trailer, like, was it the week leading into Comic-Con, I think it was, in San Diego a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks ago, as well as that extended sneak peek with the continuation of the fight between Superman and Doomsday, you know, that we left Season 3 off with in like a very cliffhanger way at the actual panel. Now, whether we get another trailer before the premiere on October 17th is another question. I would say there would maybe be at least another like 30-second promo or two that could come out in the lead up. Maybe 3 or 4 weeks out from the premiere, but I wouldn't be 100% sure on that. But they might just replay the trailer that they put out a few weeks ago, or like shorter versions of it. But I don't know. Fingers crossed we might at least get one new trailer that maybe is for like the greater parts of the season, because the one that we got in the lead up to Comic-Con, like whatever it was a few days before, that was like what, a minute and a half or something in length, that seemed to be mostly like episode 1 and 2, maybe 3 stuff. So maybe there could be a trailer leading up to the premiere that maybe extends beyond that, but then again they might not want to spoil or reveal too much, so I guess it's up to them. Of course, with the change in the CW, we don't really know how that will handle when it, you know, that side of things when it comes to promotion. But I think Superman and Lois is the only tentpole show premiering in the fall schedule at the end of this year. I think the All-American show, like the spin-off, is maybe airing its current season at the moment. So maybe they'll put more effort in promoting Superman and Lois, seeing it will be the only real pillar of their upcoming season of television. But we'll wait and see, I guess. But if they do, I'd expect some new stuff leading in the, in the month leading up to the premiere. But in this video, I thought we would go over some of the final little bits and pieces of information regarding Superman and Lois, either from Comic-Con that I didn't include in previous videos, or I just didn't see at the time before making those videos, or just news from the past couple of weeks outside of Comic-Con relating to the show. Because at the moment, this is probably like it for now, until maybe some more promotional stuff comes out. So if there is any other Superman and Lois videos between now and potentially any other promo stuff that comes out, or let alone maybe just the premiere, it's just going to be, I guess, discussion videos. But yeah, I don't really have any plans for that, so hopefully they release some stuff. But yeah, of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything we go over in this video. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking, especially when it comes to probably the final thing we talk about in this video. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, might I say, I was going to say if you enjoyed the like. If you enjoy the video, want to show your support, drop a like, takes 2 seconds. But the first thing I want to bring up is something that we were curious about, I want to say around 3 or so months ago, roughly. It was around the time that Superman and Lois was wrapping up its filming for the final season. And this was around the downtown Smallville set that the show was used in season 1. And like it was built just for the show and everything like that. And this curiosity carried on from until like now, I guess, from when they finished up until now. Because Bitsy Tulloch, who plays Lois Lane on the show, did mention that a big show would be taking over that downtown Smallville set for filming, and a lot of us would be, would be at the time, and also like even just up until a couple of weeks ago, were wondering what the hell it could be, what big show will be taking it over. Now, many, I think even including myself at the time, pointed to maybe it being Peacemaker Season 2 and that being a possibility, seeing they were about to start filming Season 2, and they filmed Season 1 in Vancouver, just in different parts, not the downtown Smallville set, of course. But Season 2 of that show we know is filming in Atlanta in the USA as its like main base. So what show could it be that's actually taking over this Superman and Lois Smallville set? Well, we actually found out recently that it's actually The Last of Us Season 2 that is using the downtown Smallville set, with it being transformed into that sort of like, I don't want to say, I don't know, it's dystopian, the best words, only a few years in the future, but we'll just say dystopian, zombie future feel. Now, of course, they've been filming the Last of Us Season 2 in Vancouver as a whole. They've been using the actual city of Vancouver, so obviously maybe what they were planning with this thing was a bit bigger, or maybe it's to contain spoilers, I don't know. But as you can see on screen, and these are courtesy of was going to say Paradise Guy, Parade Guy on Twitter, but we can see the transformed downtown Smallville set with the show of The Last of Us not making too many changes, like at least structurally. Of course, you aren't going to see like the Smallville Gazette and anything that stands out from the show in the background, or them walking into a shop. I don't know, maybe there might be like a little Easter egg, I don't know. You wouldn't think they would do that, but you never know. I guess they're both Warner Brothers properties, so they can if they want, I guess. But you can see the signage for the Smallville cinema or theater there, though I don't know if that will end up in the show. They might just take it out digitally as they do. So yeah, I guess keep your eye out for this part of The Last of Us Season 2, I guess. I don't know when the hell that show's going to come out. I think it's coming out next year. I think it is, at the very least. But at least we got the answer to what big show was taking over this era for filming, because people were very curious about it. Now, the next thing to talk about, well, the other two things, I guess, for this video are some extra things from San Diego Comic-Con that I initially missed out, though one is more of like an extension of something we did bring up previously. But the first is, once again, coming from Bitsy Tulloch, when talking with Tyler Heckler and the two showrunners, where she did mention surprise cameos throughout the final season, and specifically a surprise cameo in the series finale. We already mentioned that previously, but I don't think I talked about this. She also mentioned multiple deaths in this final season. So many are wondering, okay, well, multiple, that just means more than one at the very least. So it could just be two, but let's just go off the base term of multiple. Who could they be? And I guess it depends if we are going to include Superman in that count, which I think might be the case. Like, I think Superman's just the base, easy number one death, though, of course, he's not going to be dead for the entire season. But there is a decent amount of people that do believe that Sam Lane, Lois's father, could die early into this season, considering the circumstances he found himself in at the end of last season, and then also the only footage we have of him for this final season is him being kicked into a grave by Lex Luthor. So maybe that is the case, but outside of those two of Superman and Sam Lane, no one really jumps to mind. I mean, Lex Luthor could die, I don't know, but I think maybe the deaths that are being referred to here, if it isn't those previous two of Superman and Sam Lane, I mean, it could maybe be characters we meet in this season, or just lesser known characters from before, like members of Lex Luthor's crew, for example. Wouldn't surprise me if one or more, if not all of them, died or something like that. We don't know how things are going to play out come the end of the season, and like the stakes and the scale of it all. But that could easily happen. But if you have any ideas on that side of things, feel free to let me know in the comments, because you might be like, Pagey, you idiots, you're missing the most obvious one. So if that's the case, let me know. But the last thing to look at is actually an interview that the cast and crew of the show of Superman and Lois did with Collider at San Diego Comic-Con. And I won't go over the whole thing. I think I'm only going over about like a third or a quarter of it, just because it's what I want to, I guess, and it's what I find the most relevant to talk about. But I will leave it linked in the description down below if you want to go read over all of it, but we will just pull a couple of things from it. So firstly, they asked, as you were developing Superman and Lois, you talked about how the more you built out the world, the less organic it became to incorporate more of the Arrowverse characters for the final season. If you could have brought anybody back from Arrowverse or from the Arrowverse, who would it have been and why? With Todd Helbing saying, there's a long list. I think Grant Gustin would have been super fun. Bitsy Tulloch, aka Lois Lane, said Melissa Benoist would have been really fun. Todd Helbing then replied back saying, I think Candace Patton as Iris would have been a great team up. Those are the first three that just pop out. David Ramsey directed a bunch of episodes. He would have been awesome to bring back again. And the interviewer did reply back saying, I was so excited to see him. I was like, Diggle, you're back. With the other showrunner, Brent Fletcher, saying, I would say Grant in The Flash. I was a big Flash fan growing up. Bitsy replying, also, Grant's a huge Superman fan, so he would have wanted to do that. We do have Tom Cavanagh, which we already knew, of course, with Brent Fletcher also following up saying, but not as you know him, as we know him, and as a new character. It's very fun. He steals the show when he's in it, so watch out. Of course, they're still not clarifying exactly what episode Tom Cavanagh is showing up, but we know he's not in the series finale, which was long thought beforehand, but we'd gone over that in a previous video. But I don't know, maybe we might get it revealed who Tom Cavanagh is actually playing before the episode comes out, but it depends, because it sounds like it's a comic book character based off the previous interview we went over in the other video, but also not specifying exactly whether it's a Superman comic book character or a very, very deep cut from DC Comics. We don't know. But yeah, I mean, like, I think they mentioned some of the obvious ones here. Maybe Candace Patton's maybe not an obvious one, I don't know, but then it's Todd Helbing, who literally was a Flash showrunner and was like, sort of like, I guess there when like Iris got more storylines and stuff like that, so I guess he would have been behind a lot of those main storylines, I guess. But yeah, Grant Gustin as the Flash, Melissa Benoist as Supergirl, some obvious ones there. Obviously, like Bitsy Tulloch, we brought it up before, had talked about like there's a surprise cameo in the final episode, and of course we know that's not Tom Cavanagh as he's in a previous one. So a lot of people think it's going to be an Arrowverse character. I don't know. I still, for some reason, feel, and I mentioned in that previous video, and they don't mention him here, is it Stephen Amell, just because he was up there filming that pilot for Suits, that Suits spin-off. I don't know. The fact that they don't mention him makes me wonder if there's a specific reason behind that. But I don't know. Is that another sign? I don't know. Maybe I'm trying to like just convince myself that it actually is Stephen Amell showing up, but I don't know. And the final question that to take from that interview to put in here, just because I think it's relevant and it's something that I hadn't seen fully addressed, at least in regards to the terms they use here. But the interviewer asked, I'd love to hear more about Jonathan and Jordan this season. They're practically almost seniors. They have lost their dad. What is it going to look like for them to find their footing navigating this time of their life? With Todd Helbing saying, Jordan's had a shaky go at it, and when Superman dies, he tries to really step in his dad's shoes, and nobody can really step in Superman's shoes. He sort of fumbles a bit, I would say, and it causes a little friction between him and Jonathan. Jonathan has his own path, trying to figure out his own version of how to help. The two of them and what happens in the parallel stories that they have are a big part of the season this year, with Brent Fletcher adding, it's meant to give you an idea of who they're going to be as adults. It's not only Jordan that's had a pretty rough go of it, Jonathan can't make a right decision to save his life. He's having struggles too. By the end of the season, you get an idea of who they're going to be as men, and it's a pretty compelling story. This makes me very intrigued because it's just about how they deal with that grief and also their responsibilities when not only their dad dies and just how that figures into their family, but also Superman, who's such an important figure to the world, really, like, or specifically the United States, and how they go about it. But yeah, but the world, like Superman helps out the world. So it's going to be a very intriguing thing to see. Now they keep referencing the men they're going to be, like what's going to be like for them in the future going forward. We have a feeling there's going to be a time jump in the series finale. So I am interested to see what's happening there. That's a wait and see, I guess. I don't know if they're teasing that, but I'm just intrigued to see what they do with Jordan as a character and the Superboy aspect, but also how they handle Jonathan and what responsibilities he takes. Because Jonathan's been like a bit of an inconsistent character. Like season 2 was probably the standout for Jonathan, just because they got to do that Bizarro World stuff. And in season 3, there was obviously like the change of the actor and everything like that, and it was just like the focus was, of course, very heavily on Lois in regards to the non-Superman stuff. So yeah, I think they're going to probably take a bit more of a front, if you want to call it, this season. But that probably helps because there's not all those side characters now that are in every single episode. So now they're probably pushing at least Jonathan forward a bit, and they can do more stuff with him. So I'm just interested to see what they do there. But I don't know, this makes me think that we're going to definitely get that flash forward scene in the series finale, which probably just shows an older version of Jordan and Jonathan. Maybe after like Superman is not being Superman anymore. Doesn't mean he's dead, he's just not being Superman anymore, and maybe Jordan is flat out Superman, and maybe Jonathan follows in maybe Lois's footsteps. I don't know. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. For you to be awesome, if you drop a like on it, show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various thoughts and everything we went over in this video. Always curious to read what you guys are thinking. And of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.